House Finance Committee meeting to order. Present from Council, we have Council Rich Schmidt, Councilman Stonick, Council President Overstreet, and Council at Large. From the administration, we have Mayor Stockton, Finance Director Schindel, and City Engineer Mulch. And it is 6:30, Tuesday, June 25th, 2024. We have one item on the proposed agenda. It's a discussion of sewer rates. And we were all, let's go after requested Councilman Myers to censor the meeting. We were given some information prior to the meeting. This was compiled by CT Consultants, and we have a guest from CT Consultants to explain this information that he's compiled. So, sir, would you like to step up to the podium and state your name and address and tell us what we're looking at here?
Okay, my name is Jay Warren Shutt, S-H-U-T, the CT Consultants. My home address is 475 Diamond Street, Westerville, Ohio, 43082. And I understand that Carol Ann provided you with a series of handouts, some spreadsheets. I was asked to work with Carol Ann to analyze the status of the sewer fund in terms of its revenues and expenses, and projections going forward, and that's what this is about. The top sheet I have is the spreadsheet. I have a larger one, but the one that has zero at the yellows at the beginning, top right. This is what the projections are if you do not do a rate increase. So we're seeing from 2018 to 2023 actuals. 2024 is based on budget numbers, and then 25 and further is based on projections. Expenses are projected to increase by 3% a year to cover inflation. A lot of the driving force of the impact on the sewer fund really falls under the debt service and projected projects. These are projects that are generally driven by the Ohio EPA and US EPA requirements to deal with combined sewer overflows. The city of Willoughby and subject to cost sharing between East Lake and the city of Willoughby. So the initial sheet, if you look down towards the bottom, you'll see end of year balance in 2025. It's sort of, I have them highlighted in yellow beginning then, and you see that the numbers go negative, which means that if you don't do a rate increase, you'll run out of money in the sewer fund, go negative, which isn't allowed. So that's necessary to make a change in order to prevent that from happening. The second sheet, I believe you should look something like this, which is a bar chart with a line, sort of capturing in picture form the same information, the balance that's on your project balance on your sewer fund, and then the red line is doing that as a percentage of the expenses. Typically, we like to see a carryover balance of a minimum of 50%, but probably more like 100% of your revenues or your costs, because things can happen. You can have like COVID happen, or bills don't get out for whatever reason. Also, you can have some major unexpected capital outlay, so it's just prudent to have that. So, again, the analysis is that based on current situation with no changes in rates, you're going to be negative in 2025. That can't happen, so that's why a rate increase is necessary. There then is a second sheet that looks similar to the first one, only it has starting in 2025, it shows 95%, followed by 4%, 4%, 4%. And that's what we're recommending as a rate increase to be implemented by the city. So 95% increase in 2025, followed by 4% increases thereafter to keep up with inflation. I believe the ordinance is drafted to show that, and a lot of times that ordinance is, so that becomes semi-automatic unless council proactively takes action. You know, if the balance gets to the point you don't need it, then we can discontinue that. But again, there are reasons that you have to build up your balance, as I mentioned before. Also, if you look on this sheet, you'll see some projects further out that are highlighted in green. Those are even further future projects that we know Willoughby has to implement. I will say those, last week had projected debt service for those of your share. I will say that Willoughby hasn't updated those estimates recently, so if anything, those numbers are probably potentially on the low side. Which means you really need to get a healthy balance in your carryover balance because there's more. You can't kind of live on the edge. I would recommend. And then the fourth sheet we have, again, it's just a graphic presentation showing your carryover balances, and the blue bars and the green line shows where you're at in terms of percentage of the operating costs, showing that you're getting back up into that 100% range recommended by the end of the projection in 2030. So that is the kind of the big issue is you're running out of money, you got to raise your rates, and you need to have a very significant rate increase. The other thing we looked at is you have two subsidiary systems, if you will. You got Lakeline and you got Timberlake, and they're subject to agreements that have various kinds of surcharges on them. In the case of Lakeline, there's a flat capital fund per year, and there's also a 10% surcharge on rate. In the case of Timberlake, there are provisions where Carol Lane figures out what capital costs are, and they're supposed to pay 3.22% of them, and so there's some back and forth. Both of them are fairly complicated. So what I looked at on this sheet is look at what revenues those surcharge systems and agreements are generating versus going to a more simplified system where it's just a flat percentage of the bill. And you'll see that at the bottom there, the existing system raises about $154,000, and a single 6% surcharge raises $155,000. So it's very complicated. It requires effort from the finance department to calculate this all the time. It involves setting bills and trying to collect those bills. So I recommend that you adopt the simplified system surcharges as well. Finally, or almost finally, the sheet that looks like this. And this shows at the top what the rates would be in terms of per 100 cubic feet. Their existing minimum is $4, it would go to $7.80, and then your rates green line would go to $6.24, and then it also shows what the surcharge rates would be for Lakeline and Timberlake. And the bottom part of that, what's in the box, shows based on a 3,000 cubic feet per quarter, which is a good estimate for residential average consumption, what the actual bill the customer would receive would look like. And then finally, just to compare to other utilities, I did a recent rate study last year for Portage County, and they asked me to do a comparison to a whole bunch of other communities, and I did. And so I just put East Lake existing and proposed rates on the sheet so you can see how you compare to this body of other utilities in Northeast Ohio. I did not look at the adjoining neighbors. I will say that just last week, Willoughby hired CP consultants to help them look at their rates, and for the same reason you are, they have the same capital projects that they're facing, and it's causing the same issues with their utilities as well. So with that,
I just want to add that, the numbers for Willowwick now, they just adjusted theirs, they're at $9.84 per 100 cubic feet, and then they have an admin fee. Wycliffe's at $5.34, but Wycliffe's going to do a 10% now, and 10% next year, which will come at $6.45, and they have an admin fee. Willoughby Hills is at $10.29 with an admin fee, and again, Willoughby's a little more up right now, $4.40, but they're going to be adjusted also, below the surrounding.
Sorry.
Mr. Mayor, the administration fee, what is like, how much Ridgeville City, $5,000 a month?
I did not get that, so.
Are there any other questions before we have our guest step away? Okay, thank you. This is very detailed information, and we appreciate our work today on it.
All right, there any thoughts or questions I can be reached through Caroline?
Thank you.
And thank you for coming in all the way from Westerville tonight.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Is there any further discussion from the council? Mr. Myers.
Reading through these initial legislation, we do not, there isn't any date on this. I would suggest that we put an date in, and the council review it again, you would say 5 years, rather than just have this go on.
And I believe that's already been proposed to law director is making that addition, I believe. So, is there any other discussion?
Also on the agenda is listed as another emergency.
Three readings. Understood. Okay, anything further? We have no pending matters. We have no miscellaneous matters. We do have some time for recognition of the public. We have 3 minutes per person. Please direct your comments to the chair. And not involve personalities, please. Since we will have a public discussion during our regular council meeting as well, so let's keep this discussion limited to just the sewer fee issue. So are there any public comments? Anyone who wishes to step forward and make a public comment regarding the sewer fees? Yes. Please state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes.
125 Street. It was stated that there's no end date in the 4% lease increase number of years. I understand that. So the copy of the proposed ordinance is have in front of you this evening, which we don't have from the public yet, but so just to make sure I understand, you're asking the first year a 95% rate increase, and then every year after that 4% increase for an unlimited number of years. That's what you have in front of you tonight. It sounds like a lot of records turning something out. So what would you be voting on potentially during the regular council meeting? The first 95% and then 4 years every year in perpetuity, or another version that has not been drafted?
So
And I'm curious also.
Sorry, this matter's not on the agenda.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
Correct. It's not on the council.
It's on the committee meeting.
Committee.
Okay. But it's also on the regular council meeting agenda.
Is that going to be stricken from the agenda?
It'll be stricken, if it was going to be moved.
We're not moving forward, so it's going to be stricken from the agenda.
There won't be any votes on the regular meeting?
Correct.
And I'm just curious, how often do you review the rates to determine, it seems like there is like for 6 months before 2025, and all of a sudden we have a huge rate increase. I'm just curious why it's such a significant jump, and just wondering like how often you guys audit that and determine the whole shoot for going to severely efficient. So the 95% jump is going to be a lot for some people. For other communities, in Willowwick, a lot of them complain about their rate increases and their bills. I don't know if that, I'd like to probably request some documents from Chanel or send tonight so I can review them as well. What are current rates versus the proposed, and just trying to understand, how often you guys look at this. And it seems like a huge increase that kind of came out of the blue. I don't know if this has been discussed in the finance committee meeting, so it seems like there would be a lot more questions, you know, about why this is, discussion. The project is not a lot more comments or questions for the gentleman from CT from council.
Thank you. Any other discussion on that? Is there any public comments as well? Seeing none, is there any other further discussion on this matter? Okay, seeing none, we're going to hold this matter in committee tonight, so it will not be pushed forward onto the council agenda. That will be modified. And with that, the time is 6:45, and this meeting is adjourned.
forget what the rule is for first.
I'm calling this council as a whole committee meeting together, or to order at 7 o'clock. Today's date is June 25th, 2024. All members of council are present except Ms. Greenan, and all members of the administration are present except for our law director, Mr. Flannery. If there's anyone recording this meeting as a courtesy to the public, please identify yourself, so your fellow attendees will know that they are being recorded. Seeing none, the city of Eastlake is recording this meeting. Under legislation proposed 062501, a resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Safety or his authorized representative to proceed with the solicitation of bids through an online public auction for the City of Eastlake Police Department for the sale of various items as listed in Exhibit A, declaring emergency. Any discussion on this? Questions? Seeing none, Sarah?
The auction, just the annual department auction, instead of doing it in the garage like we did years ago, we've gone through, the property.com. Seamless, it's open to everyone in the city and the free world with the computer, and we gave you the list of the items, so.
Any other questions? Seeing none, item 062502 is being held in committee and will be put back on the agenda at a later date. 062503, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a conditional use permit to, sorry, put your name, Kalima Shabazz, doing business as Exquisite Spaces located at 6991 Vine Street, units 400, 600, Eastlake, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Ms. Shabazz, went to the planning commission. She'd like to do an event center. I guess you call it an event center. It will be on Vine Street, on the far east side Vine. She went to planning, they approved it, and she's here now to get the CUP approved by council. There wasn't any really restrictions except we do not have a final occupancy load yet, but we're looking at probably about 50 total. Parking spaces are tight, but when the event center is running, it's usually going to be in the evening or at night, and the spaces, there'll be plenty of spaces at that time.
Any questions?
Oh, no, the one thing there was, I guess, there will not be allowed any parking on the east side of the building. We are going to designate it as a fire lane, and no parking on the street for the event center. Go ahead.
Is there any liquor served here?
There, from what I've been told, and they're going to be able to bring in their own liquor or drinks. There won't be any, they will not have a liquor permit per se for that establishment. And I guess when you do it that way, the state of Ohio doesn't, and I don't want to speak out, but I think the state of Ohio doesn't require the establishment to have a liquor license.
So we'll have some security.
There will be security. We talked about that, and we just don't want this to be running wild. And Ms. Shabazz is well aware of that, and she doesn't want that either. So there will be security. I don't know a time frame when she's going to open yet. There's some work on the inside that has to be done. We have to enlarge some of the back rooms to make, ADA requirements. Again, she is well aware of this. She's been, very helpful to us with no issues, so any other questions or, yes?
How many people do you say were, you said you didn't know how many?
We're about, we think we're gonna be about 50 to 55.
And you have about 50 persons?
Yeah, I think there was, count 52 total.
Because that was my only concern, because it's trying to drive folks.
It's everybody's concern, yes.
Is we want to be good neighbors, because there are also businesses
Right.
in that facility. So I don't want to see those businesses hurt because they can't get parking spots.
Absolutely,
So that would be my main concern, is parking.
absolutely.
And also, you know, you don't want to have like that, come in, you gotta go to the park on the street and leave with a ticket, because that doesn't make for a fun party. So I just, that would be my only.
The owner is here, I don't know, talk to her or ask any questions or.
Okay. Maybe.
Anybody have questions for the committee?
Not a question for the chief. Do you have any concerns with this particular person?
Our records rooms, our records custodian's office, I prefer a table, we'll do some 3 readings to, make sure everything's accounted for. If 50 is a parking spot, is that gonna be the occupancy as well, or?
No, we have to look at the occupancy load yet, because me and the fire marshal have been in there, right now we're thinking about 50 to 55. We may be less, somewhere in that area.
And security is nice, and our other party centers, employee security. Thing is, obviously, we can't force people to work at all either. Every department around us has issues filling their sidewalk, which we have our share of, some of which are going to get filled out of town. So, I don't want people to think because the security job's posted, it's automatically filled and signed up for either.
I have a question, so with the security, would it be outside security or would it be like?
Usually with each detail, we work with the person doing the hiring of, that operation line, they want you in this area, or if they have two parties, they would want a specific one. Or a lot of times they just say this, be noticeable, would be, be friendly and say anything that comes up, which typically is not.
I think she was asking whether it's like an outside security firm or Eastlake.
Oh, sorry. No, it would be Eastlake.
Would you want to talk to, I wasn't at the planning commission meeting, so I can't address everything their thoughts were. So I don't want to speak, out of turn. What was said at the planning commission?
So as a member of the planning commission, the restrictions we put on there were security if they have alcohol, they bring their own alcohol. They informed us that they have their own outside security. We put a parking restriction on the street, no parking on the street, and the building and fire marshal would be responsible for the occupancy amount and the number of parking lots. Those are the restrictions that were passed.
So you said they have their own outside security, is that what you indicated?
That they indicate they have their own outside security.
Did you put a requirement on there if they use our officers or other officers?
That's what it was not for them.
I know we've had issues with establishments in the past that have their own internal security. So I think that's probably considered.
We asked about, using ours, but concern was that they wouldn't be able to fill it. Or wouldn't have the staff who could fill all the time. So
Sounds to me like there's still some issues that need to be hammered out with this. Do we wanna move it forward to the next meeting? I don't know.
No, I think, yeah, we still.
She's got her first reading.
Yeah, let's wait till we get the information back from the police department with all the background.
Is there a way you can give me a list of what your security semantics are? Yes, we can get you that. So I can address it with the owner?
No, can you speak?
The owner's here,
Yes.
So we have.
Your name and address for the record, please?
Melanie Hudson,
Your address?
3838 Bushnell Road, University High School.
Thank you.
Okay, so we initially addressed the, security twice in both meetings that we had with the, planning commission. First, I said we could use the local police department, and then there was something brought up about, I don't know, availability. So I said, okay, we have several districts in downtown Cleveland and other cities that we have our own private security that we use. They are ex-military or active military, that we can use. So my concern is if you're putting a requirement that we use your officers. If they're not available, then what, we can't throw parties?
It's not that you can't throw the party, just the alcohol that's involved in it. We don't know if there will be alcohol at a party, or whether somebody decides to bring their own.
Right.
And you don't happen to have security, but somebody brings it.
Right, so we agree that if someone wanted to bring their own alcohol, that we would have security, but if your requirement is that we use the police department and they don't have an available officer, then what?
Chief, let me ask you a question. When these details go out for outside, for outside security and everything, if we dealt with manpower and fill them in department, do we reach out to other departments?
Yeah, we have, I mean, Walmart sometimes is filled by Liberty Hills or Little Lick officers or road job, we kind of commonly.
So we do have an option to do so if we don't have the officers, they can reach out to the department.
To address her, I guess that would be one of the questions. If it's offered and not filled, and they fill it on their own or whatever. Because those events like the Joku softball, obviously the Brown General Security. So there are events that we work with security that comes in with the event that, we don't seem to have a problem. And the last one, which is totally different outfit as far as I know. I mean, the first arrest we made was a security guard who was carrying a weapon and was a felon. So, just somebody deemed security doesn't make it right or wrong. It all depends on, like with anything, people.
Maybe the option two would be, if they're going to use private security, that's okay by the police department or something along those lines. If she's comfortable with that. The police department, maybe that's an option, make it a little easier on you.
Sure, I mean, yeah, so is this, an ordinance that is required for us to have the local police department?
We don't have a specific ordinance that requires.
Okay.
Still gonna hold our readings, or?
I'd like to see that first reading still until the chiefs, they've had a chance to do due diligence.
We can always go forward and pass it. As long as the chief has information.
Right.
We're gonna put it on first reading for tonight, so we can clarify.
few things up. Item 062504, resolution authorizing the director of finance and the mayor to proceed with scrapping Dodge Stratus, VIN number 1B3AL76RX 4N349526 and declaring emergency. Call me today.
Yeah.
Second.
We received this a while back with the drug seizure. At the time we seized it, it could have been a decent car for, washing houses and things like that. We made a couple of appeals. It took forever to get, through the appeal process. The mechanics looked it over. The money we would have to put into it to make it safe, or to even sell it and have some type of concern of liability over it. We felt best that we just scrap it. So, I have this right on my desk, just looking for approval to scrap it and get what we can out of it.
Any questions?
Is this something that could be donated to the high school or the auto repair shop?
Stuff like that, I will look into that if, when we, let me look into that, I guess we could address it next meeting, unless the scrap would include a donation to NCI. Scrap, we have to have that separately.
Does that work for you, though?
Well, for me, but I'm not a lawyer.
Well, it's okay, we're in luck.
Okay. We have no legislation pending. This meeting is adjourned at 7:17 p.m. Calling regular council meeting of June 25th, 2024, to order at 7:17 p.m. Mr. Senator, will you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Katina.
Here.
Mr. Myers.
Here.
Ms. Schmidt. Here. Mr. Shelnick. Here. Mr. Sonic.
Here.
Mr. Overstreet.
Here. Is there a motion to approve the agenda for the regular council meeting of June 25th, 2024?
So,
Is there a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Myers. Ms. Schmidt. Yes. Mr. Katina.
yes.
Mr. Shelnick.
Yes.
Mr. Sonic.
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet.
Yes. Motion carried. The agenda is approved. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of June 11th, 2024? Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Sonic.
Yes.
Mr. Shelnick.
Yes.
Mr. Katina.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt.
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet.
Yes. Motion carried. Minutes are approved. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the finance committee meeting for June 11th, 2024?
Second, yeah. Is it being motion?
Yes.
Yes, I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Katina.
Yes.
Mr. Sonic.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt.
Yes.
Mr. Shelnick.
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet.
Yes. Motion carried. The minutes are approved. The next regularly scheduled council of the whole committee meeting will be scheduled for July the 9th, 2024, 7 p.m. with the regular council meeting immediately following the adjournment of the council of the whole meeting. Is there a motion to suspend the regularly scheduled council meetings for July the 23rd, 2024 and August 13th, 2024?
So,
Is there a second? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Myers.
yes.
Mr. Katina.
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt. Yes. Mr. Shelnick.
Yes.
Mr. Sonic.
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet.
Yes. Motion carried. Motion is approved. Committee reports.
Yes, we did. We had a finance committee meeting. We had one issue on the agenda that was to discuss the sewer rates. We commissioned a study from CT Consultants to give us good information on our sewer fund and its impact on the city budget as a whole. And based on that study, they are recommending a sewer rate increase of 95% in 2025 and 4% continuing thereafter. We discussed the matter of having this sunset after 5 years and reconsider the matter every 5 years and make that a part of it. So we tabled the issue for tonight. So that is the matter currently listed as 6/25/02 on tonight's agenda. That did not move forward and therefore should be stricken from tonight's agenda. And with that, I'll open for questions.
Any questions for Mr. Kazai? Seeing none, Ms. Smith, can I have ECDC?
Yes, thank you. We did have a ECDC meeting this evening. We discussed the yard of the year. The final date to get nominations is June 30th. So if you know any yard or business that looks fabulous, please let me know. We will be going out in July, mid-July, and to give out the signs. All of council will be invited to join us as well as the mayor. Outside of that, we are taking in summer breaks for July and August for our committee. We are then looking at, when we come back, we're going to be starting to do the Christmas lanterns for the businesses, so we will start that in September. Cleveland Home Angels has graciously given us a bunch of bike helmets, so we are currently working on doing a bike event, either next spring or next fall, so that in discussions, we will be meeting with Mayor Cotton before we move forward on any of that. Outside of that, we did have we have Lisa Martelli, who's a Newswick resident. She also is the owner of Back to Basics join us. She would like to join the committee. So I don't know what you want, if you want a resume or what you would like to, I believe you have to approve that you join us. So if you let me know what we can do and make that happen. Yes, sir. So we do currently need a business and we need a chamber member. And then also anyone who is looking to get involved, Newswick residents can join as well.
Any questions for Schmidt? Any other committee meetings?
On the 20th, we had a board meeting. Major takeaways from that were the dredging bill came in at $91,000. Mayor Stockton told me that the city check was issued to them to look for the $10,000 to be donated to them as well. So thank you for that. I know that'll help out pay for that bill, and it will also help pay for the red reserve station that's going in for us. Also, let you know they're also working on a ordinance to help deter people from putting or allowing lawn refuse, branches and whatnot, organic material everywhere. It increases the prices, it could increase the prices of dredging, and if they're not deposited in the river, it could also make us lose our dredging permit. So they're looking at something along those lines.
Any questions for Mr. Semick?
Do you think come up with some sort of social media post that we could share to kind of help encourage people not to do that and what the next are?
That's a good idea. We talked about that as well with the watershed folks.
This would be an ordinance that they would like to see the city pass, is that correct?
No, part of their.
Part of their,
Yeah.
So, okay. Thank you.
Any other committee meetings? Seeing none, move on to recognition of the public. Floor is now open for recognition of the public. I remind speakers that all remarks will be directed to the chair and will not involve personalities and are limited to 3 minutes per person for a total of 30 minutes. Is there anyone who wishes to address the council?
address for the record, please?
I'm here at my business, Empire Small Engine. I don't know my address after 2 years, I'm sorry. What is it? 3465 Vine Street. Unfortunately, I'm not here spreading joy and smiles. You've all seen the emails, you've all read the police report. Hopefully, you've all seen videos. My family, my business are being harassed and detained by one of your council members that has held all of you hostage. You all are afraid to step up to the plate, to call for a motion, and cite that motion, to vote to have this person removed. Either you're afraid of physical or verbal attacks on this person. We were sharing fundraisers, and people started coming up to us, showing us screenshots. Sorry, feels my voice. Showing us screenshots of things that were not true. Being a disabled veteran, I don't like when people sneak up behind me, even when it's by accident. Hence, Padme, she's constantly on my side to give me the warnings of this. The yellow chains at my shop are made of plastic, and they're there for my safety and safety of customers keeping our unauthorized areas. The city council person was caught on social media. The media account should be public for a Supreme Court law for everybody to see and participate in, but she continues to slander us about our charitable contributions we make to the city and the city organizations. We simply just don't say no to Empire Small Engine. We love our city. The building department has held our feet to the fire on some matters. Though we do not like it sometimes, we respect them for doing so. The council member called the business asking for my wife, Chris, to quickly recognize the voice and told them all questions on his concerns that would be directed at our lawyer because we are suing her for her transgressions. 2 hours later, this person showed up at my place of business, walked across the parking lot, almost being struck by one of the cars backing out of the parking space, taking pictures, doing whatever she was doing in authorized areas. She backed her car out, almost running into another car in my parking lot. I quickly, this is important for our people, I quickly called UCPD, and within 15 minutes, the police were at my business. They talked to me, they reviewed the security camera, and we went to this person's residence to no trespass them off of our business. They would not come to the door. They were seeing closing blinds, heard the UCPD police reporting the officer holding a bottle in their hand, and they believed she was intoxicated or inebriated. Inebriated. Not cooperating with the police and all the other matters is grounds for dismissal, gross misconduct. If this person appeared inebriated by the police within 15 minutes of contact with my business when the police went over there, that means she was drinking and driving well. I just hope you do the right thing. I love my city, and I want to. Okay.
Christine? Your name and address for the record, please.
Kristen Dale, 35952 Oklahoma. I am the other half of Empire Small Engine, and I come to you guys tonight with a concern with the councilperson that was elected to do things, or do good things for the city and constituents. However, I feel they use their political platform to spread negativity and not vulnerability. They have become a keyboard warrior and an online bully. If there's a difference of opinion, this councilperson will delete and block anyone who does not agree with them, which is illegal, and no one seems to care or do anything about it. It appears that this person is unethical in some of their posts that indicates they gave up a vote in order to get what they wanted. I have seen other examples of where they slander businesses, slander the appointed mayor, and have a lack of respect for authority. They display their insubordination regularly online and by not attending meetings and community events. I understand that it's related to health concerns, and some of us can empathize with that. However, our tax dollars are going to someone who does not attend the meetings or community events, and I would like to see this stop. If I don't show up to work, I don't get paid. If I badmouth my leaders, I can get written up for fire. The lack of respect for the people sitting up here tonight for this frontline councilperson is astounding. I know that they're an elected official, the rules are different. However, the council members have the opportunity and the right to remove any council person that fails to abide by the rules and has displayed gross misconduct in which there is proof. Council members, I urge you to not let fear get in the way of removing this person from council. This is what this person wants. They want you to be afraid so that when they can continue on spreading their negativity and get their way. The city of East Lake deserves to have better. Every single member of the city council should strive to be better for our city and our citizens. Please consider moving this council member. Thank you.
There's no one else signed up to speak. Is there anyone who wishes to address council?
Heather Freeman, 125 357th Street. At the last meeting, I just expressed my displeasure with the way the administration was handling planning and zoning in the city of East Lake regarding allowing businesses to do construction without the proper permits and approvals from the planning commission. Since then, the work has continued. This is in regards specifically to Ingram and the concrete business that is adjacent to them on 367th Street, where they cleared the lot without getting permits or building a gravel parking lot. I was told that they plan on building there. Ingram is putting up the concrete jerseys that are used in construction areas in order to keep people from stealing items from their property, which no way can be our code. And as council, you know, you are charged with making sure that administration is enforcing the regulations and the law, just like you would want police officers to enforce those laws. So I'm asking again to make sure that when these projects come in, you're looking at the rules, you're enforcing it equally, fairly, across the board. You talked about the event center. I walk by that place all the time. I count parking spots as well, about 50. We don't do one on the east side. There is a business there that's open at night. A pawn shop is never open. They're just there in storefront, right? And then the other guy sells the plastic items. I don't know what it is. But the restaurant, again, they are open at night. So you have the possibility of the event center, and that's very small. Very small right now, as it is. I can't imagine 50 more cars coming out, taking into consideration, you know, the DJ and the caterer and, you know, the security that also needs to park there. So I just think about that critically, and I'm wondering if the planning commission or the board of zoning appeals has approved variance for the reduction of parking. One other thing regarding the Science Street is maybe the police chief, Red House Street, by Circle K, there's a vacant lot that your officers sit at all the time, which is fine. You watch traffic go by, but now that lot is being used by the workers at Third Generation Innovation, Red House Street, and they jaywalk every day. Every morning on my way to work, I have to wait for some guy to get out of his van and jaywalk across the street over to his business. So if we can make sure maybe there are crosswalks put in, if that's what they're planning on doing, or somebody needs to talk to those employees and let them know that it's not appropriate to jaywalk across the street at 7:15 in the morning.
Time's up, ma'am.
Thank you.
Or anyone else who wishes to address council? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to legislation proposed. Will the clerk please read legislation 062501?
A resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Safety or his duly authorized representative to proceed with the solicitation of bids through an online public auction for the City of East Lake Police Department for the sale of various items as listed in Exhibit A and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings in full? Is there a second? Second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Summit?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczmarek?
Yes.
Ms. Smith? Mr. Stelman?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt? To adopt. Is there a second? Second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Summit?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczmarek?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Stelman?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes. The motion is carried. The legislation is adopted. 062502 has been held in committee and will not be voted on tonight. Zero 062503 3 is on first reading. Clerk, please read the ordinance.
An ordinance authorizing the issuance of a conditional use permit to Kamima Shabazz, doing business as Exquisite Spaces, located at 36091 Vine Street, Unit 400 through 600, East Lake, Ohio, 44095, and declaring an emergency.
As stated, this has been placed on first reading. Ordinance 062504 has been tabled until we can clarify whether we can donate or scrap the vehicle. We have no legislation pending, we have no unfinished business, we have no new business. We'll move on to administrative reports. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President. Next thing, July article, I talked about 6-year reevaluation and the pathway for appeal and our homesteaders relief. Talked to the county auditor yesterday, mayors and managers, advised that East Lake's average residential property tax increase should be 29%. This is an average, some will be higher, some will be lower. The notices will be going up in the next few months, advising property owners. Just for your information, if you have any questions, the city does not benefit from this increase. The large increases are due to schools. Reminder, the fireworks at Captain's Stadium Classic Park will be July 3rd. The Captains will be playing on July 4th. That's why we have to move it to the 3rd. Captains will have their own fireworks at that game. As in years past, Willowick and Wickwood are participating. Spray Park, I thank Service Director Felling for keeping the pressure on the contractors, but as of this time, we do not have a hard construction restart date. The first concert of the season will be this Thursday with Pieces of 8 going on at 6:30 at the Boulevard 500 Flags. But we have a special guest opening act, and their Sackers from Wickwood will be going on at 5:30. Also, just to answer a question from the finance meeting earlier, Ms. Freeman, the sewer rates were last adjusted August 2010. And that concludes my report. Any questions?
Questions for the mayor? Seeing none, Fire Chief, Mr. Whittington.
Thank you, Mr. President. So we got through our first heat wave. I got a feeling we're gonna have a warm summer, so this says I would take advantage. We were lucky we kept power through those 6 days. We do have the ability to have cooling centers in the city. The senior center would be, activated if we were to end up having power outages. But during these events, staying hydrated, we're seeing a little bump in EMS calls post heat wave with elderly people complaining of dehydration and things along those lines. So we just tell people, it's going to be warm, make sure you drink plenty of fluid, take care of yourself, check on the elderly, make sure you keep your pets inside and keep them out of the heat. Again, these are just like little tips to remind that they're going to be warm. Other than that, questions?
Questions for the chief? Chief Ray?
As the mayor mentioned, Wickwood and Willowick will be at our fireworks. We have officers from those agencies assisting as well. Our department has been busy the last couple of weeks with a number of different fires that the test guys have acted and handled as well as to be expected. Regular summer activity for us. I do have another swearing in we talked about for July 9th, and that's all I have.
Any questions for the chief? Seeing none, our chief will report, Mr. Mann.
I'd just like to thank my staff for working, without a cooling station, especially last week. They did a great job and no complaints, and I do appreciate their help. That's it.
Any questions for Mr. Mann? Okay, our service director, Mr. Felling.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to echo those words from the building department official. We did have our employees work 6 to 2 last week, trying to bring them out of the water to beat some of the heat. Follow up on a couple of projects that are coming up. The marquee sign is also mid-July. And as far as the spray park goes, as the mayor mentioned, I did actually receive a call or text about 6 o'clock tonight. The company that is doing the install is, PSS Contractors. They're currently on a job. They're finishing up that job and waiting for the health department there to approve it. And we're next on their schedule. The text I received tonight, because of the pressure I keep giving them daily, was they're now reaching out to local contractors to see if somebody can begin the excavation prior to PSS coming to do the install.
Question. Regarding the contract with Spray Park, and I don't remember the exact legislation, but do we have anything in there, any type of penalty for not finishing in a timely manner or something like that?
Unfortunately, I was not involved in any of those talks, and I searched kind of low all day today for those, and I cannot find that.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for our service director? Thank you, Mr. President. The Ohio Public Works Commission releases money for their approved projects in early July. So we're going to look to get the authorization for the Lakeland Boulevard Phase 1 and the East 347th Street project at the next meeting. Available for any other questions. Any questions for our engineer? Seeing none, our finance director, Mr. Bell.
Thank you. Finance is at the end of the building and gets the afternoon sun with all these wonderful windows we put in City Hall. And so therefore, we may be working 6 to 2:30 on the days when it gets really hot, because I don't want all my people going home sick and not coming back the next day. Most of our grants are reimbursement based, so this is the time of year we start going through, the expenditures, we're trying to get our money back for expenses that we may have paid April, May, June, anytime after the budget. So, and the auditors are still working with us, but they don't want to come into the building right now. So we haven't seen them in the last 2 weeks, which is, the way it's expected. That's the end of my report.
Any questions for Mr. Bell? Since our law director sure can't take us to the beginning tonight, I'll adjourn this meeting at 6:43 p.m. 7:43 p.m. Thank you.